It's the Al Travis Show, but once a week we get him in here. He is Jerry Groskreutz, our farmer guy. We like talking about what's going on. And according to the Zoom, looks like he's on location somewhere. Where are you at, Jerry? What big farm things going on?
Well, remember, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago, you were over at the Minnesota Ag Expo in Mankato?
I was there, had a great time meeting a lot of folks, yeah.
Yep, well, I'm over at the same spot. It's Pork Congress. So we're talking a little bit about pork. And just in case you're wondering, Al, I don't think there's any turkey, chicken, or beef on the menu for lunch.
Oh, well, yeah, it could be pork on a stick, pork chops. I got you. Let me ask you this, Jerry. Why are you there? Because, as I understand it, you do not raise pork.
Well, but I'm involved in the pork industry as much as the ones that do, because I raise corn and soybeans that pigs eat. And I happen to have a number of pork-producing neighbors who have a big mill that I can sell my corn to half-mile down the road. And sometimes I get some of their organic fertilizer.
The pig poo, once again, comes up on the radio. Does that get you in the door then, Jerry? Or do you got to become, are you a member of like the pork chop bureau of the stuff?
I voluntarily pay into the Minnesota Pork Producers Association.
Okay.
That's a voluntary side so that the industry can have a voice in St. Paul at the Capitol and Washington, D.C. But there's also the one that's putting on this is a pork board. That's the checkoff. So anytime you sell a pig, you pay into the checkoff, and that can be used for research, education, and promotion.
All right, gotcha. And so is this a big 1 day, 2 day, a week-long deal? I mean, how long can you talk pigs?
Well, I was over here Monday afternoon for the annual meeting of the Pork Producers Association and the Pork Board. And then Pork Congress, with the big trade show, was there then Tuesday and Wednesday.
And not to be mean, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with fine Mankato area, but why is all this happening in Mankato? I mean, is that really central Minnesota?
Well, the pork industry is more concentrated in the southern part of the state.
Gotcha.
And you could kind of generalize with corn and soybeans. Sure, we grow corn and soybeans in central and northern Minnesota too, over in the Red River Valley, but most of the production is kind of the southern part of the state too. Plus, it's just nice not having to go to the big city and pay parking fees and that sort of stuff.
All right, that's fair enough. The stories I want to talk about today, other note you're up to, this is according to Brownfield, the CEO of the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture, are saying that the Trump administration needs to prioritize maintaining current and finalizing new trade deals. Is the president really out there heading to Japan talking pork? That isn't really what the president does he?
Well, that or his team does.
Well, yeah, I get but this idea of throwing Trump's name out like he's going to, you need to make me a call and sell 60,000 pigs to somebody, that can't be how that works.
Yeah. And it did throw a monkey wrench in, like the pork industry, for example. Mm-hmm. How closely we worked with Canada, because Canada is very sparsely populated.
Yeah.
So they could farrow the baby pigs in Canada, wide open spaces, so you didn't worry so much about disease transmission. Mm-hmm. So they would breed and farrow the pigs up there, then they'd get going. After they were leaving the nursery, they'd load them on a heated trailer and then bring them down here to the upper Midwest where we raise all the corn and the soybeans. So it's really a really efficient system. But now all at once, when you've got trade barriers and things changing all the time, it's really hard for them because they had such an efficient model. You know, the free market is very good at developing the most efficient way of doing something.
Yeah. And I presume you're talking like the tariffs, right? Was there a 25 cents a pig tariff or something? I don't know what a baby pig goes for.
Yeah, so there was a big unknown about the pigs and the border is, okay, here we're in Canada, here we're in Minnesota, we're kind of here in the upper Midwest, southern Canada, and it was a very efficient system. So they've had some hiccups. Plus, the other thing, we export a lot of pork to China and Japan. And even before President Trump got elected the first time and second time, the pork exports to Canada or to China were going down because they were producing more of their own pork. But it certainly didn't help having it to do with trade barriers and stuff. So hopefully that's starting to settle down a little bit now.
All right, let me ask you this. What does 50-degree temps do for you down here? I presume most of the snow and most of the fields with that black dirt will be exposed. Does this help you in any way? I mean, you know that there's going to be massive snows in March.
Well, it helps me feel better, and it helps me feel sicker by getting spring fever.
There you go.
It's hard to explain now when you do what I do and you get to start all over in the spring of the year, even though I had a couple of really rough years weather-wise. Boy, that first 50-degree sunshiny day, and you're looking forward to getting back in the field again.
Yeah. But you're at the Pork Council, does this do anything for the pigs? You talk about the little baby pigs need to be in a heated truck to come down. I got to think when you're at 50, 60 degrees, that's got to be prime pig weather. You're not having to turn the heat on for them, right? I mean, this got to be good pig weather?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And most of the finishing barns do have supplemental heat to help when it really gets cold. Yeah. But boy, it warms up just a little bit, have some proper ventilation, and you don't have to buy a lot of propane to raise the pigs, so that helps from expenses too, just like it helps Al when you look at your heating bill for the winter. I got mine for January. It wasn't pretty.
Oh, I see. You tied that to my house. I get that. When you were talking about it, I'm thinking, yeah, that's like me in the garage with a cigar. If I don't have to turn the propane on very much to heat it up, I'm saving some bucks. Okay, I see how that works for my house as well. Thanks for bringing that up. Hey, I got to go to break, Jerry. When we come back, I want to ask you about your Super Bowl. I didn't even ask you what you had for a Super Bowl party. If you did, we'll talk about that and much more coming up here with Jerry Groskreutz, our farmer extraordinaire, on the Al Travis Show. He's Jerry Groskreutz out at the Pork Congress in Mankato. I presume that's the Mayo Civic Center Health Auditorium Burrito Cafeterium.
Mayo Clinic Health System Event Center. Yeah, it took me about 3 years to get that down now.
Yeah. So you're there. I, just to help you out with the pork guy, I did some pork ribs for the Super Bowl that were off the charts. They were fantastic. When you know you're going to the Pork Congress, did you make sure at your Super Bowl party you had pork?
No, I didn't. But where was my invitation to Al's party?
See, this is the problem with the Super Bowl. It starts so late. It goes so late, right?
Yeah.
That I can't have people over because if the game is really boring at halftime, I'm going to bed. Like I got to boot you out and say, I'm sorry, you're not watching the rest here. I don't generally have a party. I put pork and chicken wings on the grill. I had an entire day of sports watching, and then they were perfect by the time kickoff went off. And but I'm sitting here supporting pork, and you're saying you didn't have ribs at your party? I'm a little upset, Jerry.
Well, now, can I throw Louise under the bus?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why we get married. It's a deflection shield. Yes.
She was kind of in charge of that, so she had chicken wings, meatballs, and
there you go.
A salad, and we had a couple neighbors over and a couple friends.
What is it? What is this salad thing you speak of? At a Super Bowl party. What is this?
She makes some sort of. It's like whipped cream, but something.
Oh, that's better. Then that's okay. I thought you meant like lettuce and tomatoes and stuff. Like not at Super Bowl time. Okay, that works. That sounds good. And you mentioned meatballs, so that gives us the radio segue into the next bit. President Trump signed an executive order temporarily, this according to Fox News, expanding the amount of beef the U.S. can import from Argentina, 80,000 metric tons. That's got to tee off the American beef farmer, doesn't it?
It's maybe a little bit on the principle of doing it, but the demand.
Well, principle and the money. I mean, it's going to cost me money if you bring somebody else's beef in here. That's principle and cash.
It's not enough to affect the price. The demand for beef is so huge in this country that there isn't enough in the world to markedly affect the price other than just the perception, maybe.
All right. So 80,000 is not all that much. Okay, fair enough. The only last thing I had was they're talking about brownfield. Planting delays are anticipated for Brazil's second crop. That's got to mean good things for you. But how can Brazil get 2 crops in and you only get 1? Are you not trying hard enough, Jerry?
It that thing that around the middle of the world they call the equator.
Yeah, it's very warm there. I went down there for Mexico and did a vacation. It's very hot.
Yeah. We're a little too far from the equator to be able to double crop much of anything versus Brazil and Argentina. Even is farther south, farthest from the equator, so they don't do a lot of double crop. It's just Brazil where they can plant soybeans. They try and get them in early, harvest them, and then come back and plant their main crop of corn.
Wow, and that they can do that on a regular? I mean, that doesn't push it? They're not getting, okay. So how far south can we do that? Can we do that in like southern Texas?
Well, I think the environment is a little bit too dry for doing something like that.
Okay.
But you get down to Indiana and Illinois, sometimes they'll plant winter wheat in the fall, then they'll harvest the winter wheat early summer, and then they'll plant soybean second crop back. So they can do a little bit of it. I used to try it when I grow peas, but it was tough. A lot of times the frost would get it before they were mature. So now I just hopefully get pooped on in a good way by my pork producing neighbors and then plant a cover crop.
Well, I kind of think for you, just ruining 1 pea crop should be a goal, and not trying to do it with 2.
Yeah,
just trying to keep it down to 1 crop. You're getting back next year, is what I hear. They're going to let you do it again. That's funny.
Yes, I got a text from Sabrina that she had the prices, and earlier this week I went over and signed the contract. So they signed up for Abusive Jerry for 1 more year.
I love that. I love how that happens, Jerry. I appreciate you taking the time. Pork Congress will be done by the time folks hear this, but hopefully things get done. Does it have the arena's all packed with pig guys trying to give you free pens and stuff? Is it the same thing?
Oh, pretty much the same principle. There's some free things to be had, no doubt about that. Right. And before you go, so what does Al do when he gets spring fever? Are you out there in your garage or driveway swinging at wiffle golf balls?
You should not. No, just yesterday, for no good reason other than it was really warm, I took a cigar and I walked out and picked up the Duke Nuggets, my dog Duke. Because they were freeing up out of the snow, so I picked up. And the difference is, in the middle of winter, I hate it. I curse it. It's like, it's too cold out here. On a nice day where I'm smoking a cigar, and it was like, okay, dog's going to do what a dog's got to do. It's not glamorous, my life, but it is my life, Jerry. I picked up dog noogies.
Well,
you asked.
People say I need to get a life, too. The highlight of my week is signing a contract with Bird's Eye Foods and coming over to Pork Congress.
Well, it's an exciting time. Jerry, I love having you on the program, my friend. I thank you very much for coming on.
Talk to you next week.
He's Jerry Groskreutz, farmer extraordinaire. I didn't think I'd be talking about my dog's nuggets today, but here we go. Jerry Groskreutz, more right after this.